Alrighty. CJ, you're number 2.
My number 2 is from a movie that's near and dear to my heart. I'm just kidding. I do love this movie, though. It is my favorite Spielberg movie, Jurassic Park, the first one. And it is... I had to think about that for a second. Is it my favorite Spielberg movie? Yeah, it is. It totally is. And it's like, I feel like every generation has, like, depending on when you grow up, you have a Spielberg movie that's like your go-to. You know what I mean? If you grew up in the early 80s, like, it's probably like E.T. or something, you know what I mean? But this one's mine, like Jurassic Park. I was, during my formative years. It's our Jaws. And it's way better than Jaws because...
Yes! Thank you! Thank you!
He's strapped to the ocean. He can walk around the city. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into an anti-Jaws rant. I do like Jaws too. I like Spielberg. Whatever. This moment is our introduction proper to the T-Rex, and that is when they're with the powers down on the island. They're in front of the T-Rex's like thing, and the goat. They realize the goat is gone, and then they're like, "What? What's going on?" The water's shaking because something big is coming, and the T-Rex breaks out of the freaking fence in front of them, and all hell breaks loose as we have seen that movie. I love that moment. That moment is amazing. Like, and it's like the threat of the movie, like, all rolled into one scene. You know what I mean? Like, here's what bad can happen when the power goes down in Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? Like, which is what we all knew was going to come anyway. Yeah.
I was between that. I was gonna pick that one for one of my favorite moments. It was between that one and the one I chose. That was really close. That was really, really close to being one of my. That's just a great scene. That is that ripple effect in the water. That is my dun 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 dun. Sarah, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally epic. Again, that's another movie from my childhood as well. Though, as a child, my favorite part of that movie actually happened just a little bit after that, where I thought it was hilarious when the guy gets eaten off the toilet. Like, I always thought that was, like, the funniest part of that movie. But, yeah, it's super epic. When you see, like, a real dinosaur, like, pop out, it's definitely really awesome.
I thought, for the longest time, dinosaurs were real and back again, and my teacher was just giving me the look of, like, no. I was 7. No, it was 93. I was 7. 93 was the year of the dinosaur. Jurassic Park and Power Rangers. Alrighty. Yeah, no, that's a great choice, CJ. Sarah, you're number 2?
My number 2?
Yeah.
So, one of my favorite movies is the movie 300. And one of my favorite moments from it is when the bad guy comes up in his little, like, thing, and he's like, "Our arrows will blot out the sun." And then one of the Spartans says, "Then we will fight in the shade." And then later on, they're all under their shields, and all these arrows are coming down. And I think someone says something like, "You had to say it." They were fighting in the shade. And it's just this really, like, badass moment of, like, throw whatever you want at us, we'll take it, whatever. Like, I think it's kind of like, just one of the greatest quotes in that movie. Yeah.
I have never seen 300, so I don't know. What was that? Oof. Was it?
It's so good. It's super quotable. It's such a pretty movie. I know there was some controversy when it came out that it was offensive against Persians, but I don't view it as that. For me, it's a story.
It's a historical story. Like,
I think they took some liberties to make it more filmic.
Because I know it's based on Frank Miller's 300, right? So Frank Miller took the historical event, and then comic book guys did, and then Zack Snyder did his thing with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to see this movie. I was just like, CJ. I think you saw it, CJ, right?
Yeah, I saw it. I have had so many arguments with my former roommate about, like, why I'm wrong for liking this movie. But, like, credit where credit's due, and I really like the movies that he has made that I like. I really like, and that is one of them. 300 is one of those movies that he's made that I like, and I really like 300. You know, but because I don't like him, you know, it can't be his fault that I really like it. So.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. Zack Snyder is not. This is before I even knew who he was. I'm like, all right, like it was really pretty, but I didn't know he was a shitty filmmaker until I saw Sucker Punch. That movie sucks. Not to be mean,
Well,
but
his style fit the movie. Like
of 300.
I feel like he has a specific style that he tries to put into every single movie, and a lot of them don't work. In 300, it worked.
So it's funny because there was a panel where it was Kevin Smith, Judd Apatow, and Zack Snyder, and I forgot what the panelist asked Zack Snyder, and he went on this long diatribe, and Kevin Smith goes, "Whew, thank God your pictures are pretty, man, because whoa, that answer," and then, but no, I mean he got beautiful cinematography. Just he doesn't know how to tell the story very well. But in my opinion, and no one else's opinion. All right. So that's Sarah's number 2.
My number 2.
All right. So my number 2 is from Ghostbusters, and this is when they're fighting Gozer the Gozerian, and Gozer asks, "Are you a god?" And Ray says, "No." Then die, which is followed by
Ray. When someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
And that is my favorite moment. When I was a kid, that kills me all the time because their faces, everyone's like, what do we say? And I'm like, yeah, you say yes. And Ernie Hudson's character, Zeta, what's his name? Whatever his name is, Eddie Hudson's character is like, you say yes. And it's yeah, that's my favorite moment in that movie. I'm like, that's just hilarious. Like, why would you say no? Thoughts?
Great moment. Great thing.
I mean, that movie is just amazing.
That movie is just full of quotes. It's great. I'm sad that it got the other sequel got pushed back to next year.
Yeah.
But yeah. Alrighty. That's So, do you guys want to do your honorable mentions? I don't have any honorable mentions because we saw last time that did not go well. So I'm gonna do. Do you guys want to do your honorable mentions? TJ, Sarah.
I'll mention a couple.
All right, CJ. Honorable mentions, good sir.
Let's see. Well, call it fate. Call it karma. Call it. I'm just kidding. Freaking. I have honorable mention. A couple of that made it that were so close. Quicksilver saves Magneto and Professor X in Days of Future Past. That got narrowly beat out by the Nightcrawler thing. I was like, they kind of cover the same ground. But that scene is amazing. I love that scene. Freaking. Also, like I said before, like the android ripped in half in the Aliens movie. One I wanted to fit on my list, it just couldn't fit. The church scene from Kingsman: The Secret Service.
That's a good scene.
Holy crap! When that scene was over in that movie, I was like, dude, my ticket was $16. Like, I would have paid that for this scene only. Like, I would have paid that just for the 5 minutes of that scene and left the theater and been freaking satisfied. Let's see, the Hulk. I'm always angry. In Avengers, in the first Avengers movie. I love that scene, or that, and all the countdown reaches 0 in Independence Day.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good scene. That's a good moment. I forgot about that. Sarah, you got your. Oh, sorry. Did were you done?
Honorable mentions. In First Blood, there's a scene where Rambo takes down a helicopter by throwing a rock at it.
I'm telling you to get on his radio. What's going on up there? I don't want him dead, Paul. I want him alive. You hear me? Mark, come in.
Which is really cool.
Wait, in the First Blood?
It's the first blood, like the first movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he just throws a rock and then it crashes.
That's funny. I don't remember that.
Yeah. In John Wick Parabellum, they're fighting in a barn and he slaps a horse and the horse kills a man to death.
That's great. That's
and
a great
that
pick.
one's really cool. Punisher Warzone. There's these guys jumping from one building to another, and he just has like a rocket launcher, and he launches it as someone jumps from one building to the other, and it hits the guy in midair as he's jumping from one to the other, and just explodes. I thought that was really cool because it's so random. I like in the movie Riddick where Vin Diesel says, "I'll ride it like I stole it." Like he's quoting the Fast and the Furious in the Riddick movie.
I've never seen the Riddick.
It's great. It's like, yeah, like in the theater, people freaked out. And then I like in Deadpool when he spells out Francis with dead bodies. And he's just like, Francis.
That's a great moment. I like that.
Yeah. So those were my honorable mentions.
Alrighty. Alright, cool. Alright, CJ, you're number one, good sir.
Alright, my number one. I hope I don't step on Sarah's toes with this. I don't know. She might have something from this French. But this is something that I could not choose. I tried to get it off of my list, to be honest. I didn't want it on there, but it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. All right, this moment is bigger than what my big moments are. And that moment is Darth Vader telling Luke Skywalker that he's his father.
If you only knew the power of the dark side, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
And it's like that moment is so, like, it's so iconic that it has like pierced like all of reality, kind of like everybody knows about this moment. Everybody knows who Luke Skywalker's dad is, number one, right? And everybody knows that how he finds out he's his dad. You know what I mean? Like this is like this universally accepted great twist that has happened in like social consciousness. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember. And it's still significant to me because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I watched Star Wars a lot when I was a kid, just like I watched Indiana Jones a lot when I was a kid. And I remember my feeling when I found out this, you know what I mean? I remember like being floored by it as a kid too. Like, oh my God, like that's his dad. And I remember like my thought process, like, you know what I mean? Like just thinking like, dude, what? Well, first of all, like what a great idea. Here he is. Like, I didn't think like, oh, what, this is an option. You could just like stop fighting and join him, and you guys are like take over the galaxy. Do that, Luke. Do that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you're gonna fall otherwise. Come on, like, fine. Just take his hand. Your hand's gone. Just let him help you, buddy. But, no, like this. What like an epic and iconic moment in all of cinema history. You know what I mean? Not to mention Star Wars history. Not to mention that this elevates freaking Empire Strikes Back to like an awesome level because of like how it ends, and it also elevates Darth Vader as a villain. You know what I mean? It takes this guy who was just kind of just a black suit wearing evil guy, and now he has some depth and something else to him. You know what I mean? There's something else to him that you can kind of think about. You know what I mean? Oh, he's not just evil. He has motivation, and he actually cares about like his offspring. You know what I mean? Also, this is his offspring. He can have them too. You know. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
Sarah, thoughts?
Yeah, so mine. I must confess, my number one moment is from the same movie, but it's a different moment. But yeah, so by the time like I grew up watching the Star Wars movies, I was kind of like I already knew it. It's like general knowledge, accepted knowledge. By the time I realized enough to understand what was going on in the movie, it's definitely one of epic points in the trilogy to think about. Like, I think it's a changing point for Luke because he kind of has to, I think, grow from that moment and be like, am I evil? Like, is there evil in me? And then it's also like this huge reveal of like, oh my God, like this is insane. Like, how did we not know this beforehand? So yeah.
I remember, like, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I remember being like, wait, what always bothered me about that moment was like, wait, if you're his, why did you wait till now to tell him, and why were you trying to kill him this whole time? But it is a universal, like, greatest moment in cinema history ever. So much so that The Simpsons made fun of it, kinda, a couple times. So that's when you know when you're culturally, like a pop culture, right? Yeah, no, that's a good choice. I totally forgot about. I keep forgetting about that thing. I'm like, oh, that's huh. That does happen. Alrighty, Sarah, you're number one.
Yeah, so from Empire Strikes Back, the side plot of the movie is the Millennium Falcon is trying to escape. The Empire's chasing it, and at one point, it's this little like Millennium Falcon, and these two giant Star Destroyers are slowly trying to like attack it, and
I saw him.
So what?
Star Destroyer is coming right at us.
Sir, might I
Shut him up or shut him down. Check the deflector shield. Great. Well, it's still outmaneuver. Take evasive action.
to me it's so funny because they have these giant ships and they're trying to chase this little like small ship, so it's just this really slow progression of these, and then the little ship, it's very funny. Like the one of the things I like about Star Wars is there's like usually two plot lines that you're following, and the side plot line can be just as important as the main plot line. And I just, every time I watch these two giant ships trying to catch the Millennium Falcon, it cracks me up. I'm like, you guys, like, what are you doing? Like, release some TIE fighters. Like,
CJ, thoughts?
No, yeah, that's funny. And I agree, yes. Release some freaking TIE fighters.
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember this at all. From what part is that in the movie?
It's like the middle of it.
I don't remember.
Remember, they eventually stick to one of the Star Destroyers and then float off with the trash.
Oh, okay. I remember the sinking part. I don't remember the chasing part. I've seen those movies like maybe once. I mean, like, yeah, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. As you know, I'm more of a Star Trek. You know, Cisco, best Starfleet captain ever.
No.
Ignore.
Anywho, yeah, so yeah, I'm more Star Trek than Star Wars. But I gotta, yeah, these are great choices I've used, guys. All right, so
What's your number one, Renee?
my number one is not a Star Wars. My number one is from a Steven Spielberg movie, and it was like it formed my childhood a lot. I do it every time when I was a little kid. And it is the kitchen and the raptor scene from Jurassic Park. When they follow the little kids, that scene just scared the fuck out of me. That's when I covered my eyes, and apparently I did this, and I did this again through the whole through that whole scene, because it was just scary. And then when the girl is trying, she couldn't get down, she couldn't get the hood down. I'm like, what's she gonna do? And then I'm like, when the raptor smashes against the the pantry or whatever. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's yes, that moment is my favorite moment.
It's a very suspenseful moment. It's extremely intense. Like, it's an extremely intense moment. Like, and they play with us because they're kids. You know what I mean? Like, they're kids that are going through this moment, and so they're like playing with us. Like, oh my God, are you gonna let them eat the kid?
So that moment to me. So and then and so at KMVT we did that scene. We had the kids recreate that scene where the kids were the Raptors. It turned out really funny. Have I not shared that with you?
No.
I'll share that with you later. It's really really funny. But yeah, so yeah. So those are our top 5 personal favorite moments in movie history, cinema. Anything you'd like to add to the viewers before we go on, Sarah, CJ, Sarah? No.
No, I think that's it.
Alrighty. Well, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming by, you guys. Hopefully you had fun. Hopefully we entertained you. Hopefully everyone's doing well and you're staying at home as you should, unless you absolutely have to. Bye.